For those, for those using ASL interpretation services, our two interpreters today will be Andrea Lamberton and Jennifer Smith. Their names will be displayed on the screen as ASL interpreter sign next as Andrea and ASL interpreter sign next as Jennifer. Instructions for how to pin their videos and access cart captioning services can be found in the chat. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Melanie, so much. Good afternoon, members of the public, CCRB staff, and colleagues. I am Pat Smith, a mayoral appointee to the CCRB and the interim chair. On my left is Jonathan Darsh, Executive Director of the CCRB. I would like to call the CCRB's February Public Board meeting to order. Now I'm supposed to bang the gavel, I'm sorry. Premature gavel. Will the board members please introduce themselves, starting down the end with Joe?
Joe Fox, NYPD designee.
Amy Holroom, City Council designee. Thank you.
Frank Dwyer, NYPD designee.
Shireen Crawford, mayoral appointee.
John Darsh, I use he, him pronouns, and I'm the executive director of the CCRB.
Northern, mayoral appointee.
Good afternoon. My name is Joseph Puma. I go by he, him pronouns. I'm the Manhattan City Council representative on the board.
Kevin McGinn, NYPD appointee.
Herman Merritt, City Council designee from Brooklyn.
Rahul Agrawal, mayoral appointee.
Thank you, everyone. Let's have the adoption of the minutes. Are there any changes or corrections to the January minutes? If none, is there a motion to approve the January minutes?
So moved.
Second? All in favor? Any objections? Okay. Any abstentions?
I abstain.
You abstain. So, the minutes are approved. Thank you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, colleagues, and staff. Welcome to the February 2026 meeting of the New York City Civilian Complaint Review Board. Let us recommit ourselves to correcting the effect of America's original sin as we commemorate Black History Month. And let us recommit ourselves to love one another as we celebrate Veterans Day. Following up on my comments last month, I have reached out to the office of our new City Council Speaker, Julie Menard, to remind her that there are only 3 City Council designees on the CCRB instead of the required 5. That the Bronx has been without representation for more than 4 years, and that Staten Island has been without representation for most of the last 4 years. With solid input from the CCRB Executive Director, Jonathan Darsh, and other senior staff, our efforts to improve the hiring and training of CCRB investigators continues, and we will have more news on that subject next month. Now I would like to introduce our Executive Director, Jonathan Darsh.
Thank you, Chair Smith. As the chair noted, February is Black History Month. This year is actually the 100th anniversary of Black History Month, which was first commemorated in February of 1926. Carter G. Woodson, founder of the Association for the Study of African American Life and History, chose this period so as to include the birthdays of both Abraham Lincoln and Frederick Douglass. Originally just a week long, it has since expanded into a month-long celebration of Black history, culture, thought, and achievement. I grew up in and currently live in Queens, which is home to the largest African-American middle-class community in the United States. From Louis Armstrong and Ella Fitzgerald to Run DMC and Salt and Pepper, African-Americans have made Queens their home. But the history of my home borough also shows the interconnection of race and police misconduct. From the killing of 10-year-old Clifford Glover in 1973 to the killing of Sean Bell in 2006, Queens has shown that the impact of police misconduct oftentimes has a racial component. That is why February means a lot to those who work here at the CCRB. I want to thank the Black at CCRB Workplace Affinity Group for the resources they've provided to staff, their efforts to raise awareness throughout this month, and their work celebrating the contributions of Black New Yorkers and others from around the country and world. Last month, I shared that our agency's goals for 2006 would focus on the question of how to more efficiently do our work on behalf of all New Yorkers. To that aim, I've shared my own reflections on the role of efficiency with our team and solicited their help to more specifically identify suggestions, priorities, and initiatives that would support this goal. This is not something I can apply from the top down. I want to thank the folks who have already come forward with suggestions, and I look forward to working with our entire workforce to uncover efficiencies together. It is my hope that we can imbue the notion of efficiency not only in the work that we do, but also in the culture we have here at the agency, in the ways in which we develop the skills of our staff so they can carry these skills with them throughout their careers, and in the innovations we can uncover that will make our agency a modern, nimble organization that can better support you, the people of this city. And in the spirit of efficiency, I will end my remarks there.
Thank you, John. Any questions for our executive director?
Matt would be mad at me if I didn't remind people there's a 4-minute limit. And so on public speakers. So when you do get a chance to make public comment, please limit your comment to 4 minutes.
Thank you. Any questions for the board, for our executive director? Okay. Thank you. We will now enter the public comment portion of the meeting. Again, we will start with I did that. Did you have that? What? Oh, the outreach, I guess. I'm sorry. Marwa Rigigi. Ririgi.
Marwa, why don't you start the outreach presentation? Thanks.
New guy here.
One second, folks, we'll get started.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to give a brief presentation about the CCRB. Okay. So the Civilian Complaint Review Board is the nation's largest independent oversight entity over the largest police force in the country. The CCRB investigates, mediates, and prosecutes allegations of misconduct against members of the NYPD. The agency is governed by a 15-member board with 5 seats appointed by the mayor, 5 appointed by the New York City Council, 3 designated by the police commissioner, 1 appointed by the public advocate, and the chair is appointed jointly by the mayor and the city council. Okay. Next slide, please. Yeah. The slide's not working.
So they're moving on that computer, but not on the one she's looking at.
Yeah.
So Marla, maybe just go to the. There it is. Okay.
Okay. So the CCRB, so the types of allegations that are within the CCRB's jurisdiction include abuses of force, authority, discourtesy, and offensive language. If you experience or witness police misconduct and you'd like to file a complaint, you could do so by visiting our website, nyc.gov/CCRB complaint. You could also call the CCRB at 1-800-341-CCRB. And remember, if you see footage of misconduct on social media or in the news, you can also file a complaint about that, even if you weren't there in person. Some other ways you can also file a complaint is by visiting our office at 100 Church Street on the 10th floor, New York, 10007. Or you can file a complaint at your local precinct, and the NYPD is required to accept CCRB complaints at any precinct, or you can request a form or postage-free envelope. If you'd like to request a CCRB, a presentation about the CCRB, feel free to reach out to outreach@ccrb.nyc.gov, and please follow us on our social media. We're on Instagram, Twitter under the same username, CCRB_NYC. You can also follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/ccrb.nyc.
Outstanding work, Marwa. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone have any questions for Marwa? Adapt, improvise, overcome. We will now enter the public comment portion of the meeting. We will begin with us joining us virtually. We would like to make a comment followed by those who are joining us in person. For those joining virtually, please use the raise your hand feature. Please keep your comments to 4 minutes. Jahai, would you please call the first person?
Okay, the first person with their hand up is Mike Tucker.
Mr. Tucker?
Hello?
We hear you, Mr. Tucker. A little louder. Go ahead.
Yes, good afternoon, and thank you for allowing me this opportunity to speak. I wanted to start because I'm very troubled and alarmed about some incidents that are happening with my kids at the hands of NYPD officers. They actually put in a couple of complaints with the CCRB, and just to me, it's not moving quick enough. I know that y'all get thousands of complaints with misconduct or incidents that happen with the NYPD, but this is alarming to me because one is one precinct, and in a span of 2 weeks, we have maybe about 7 incidents that happen, even as recently to a police officer making a racial statement to my son at a traffic stop. As I said, I'm aware that there's a lot of complaints and everything that's going on, but I needed to bring this to the attention of the CCRB from the perspective of a father, a concerned father, because I've been down this road before. Unfortunately, I already lost a child at the hands of NYPD. My son was killed in 2005 by an NYPD officer. And I want to make sure that I say to everyone that's listening, online, in person, I'm not against the police department. I do a lot of work with community precincts. And, you know, this was an incident that happened 20 years ago. Now, as I said, we're dealing with situations that are happening to my kids right now, and I'm losing sleep over it because I just feel that there's a disconnect in regards to, as I said, these incidents happening. It's the same precinct, but no one is really flagging this. I don't know if y'all have a system in place where if y'all get multiple complaints from a precinct that is able to be flagged and logged to where y'all could address these issues right away. As I say, I do not want to experience the loss of another child. And so I'm trying to do everything in my power to bring this to everyone's attention. The mayor's office, the police commissioner, the public advocate's office, council, community-based organizations, because the community should not live in fear. One of the other things that I want to say before my time was up is we have a problem in the same situation with these officers where my son was assaulted and arrested and taken to the hospital, and the police officers that arrested him were able to dictate the treatment that he got at that hospital, which was nothing. Are they police officers? Are they doctors? Are they able to do this? And I need someone to look into that because, as I said, you shouldn't arrest a person if they're injured in that incident and they request medical attention. Those same officers are able to go to a hospital and say that this person shouldn't be treated or they shouldn't get the treatment that they need. And all of the things that I'm telling you are documented in writing, on video. There's video evidence for everything that I'm telling you. And I appreciate the opportunity. Maybe someone can look into this, someone can get in touch with me because this is something that's very serious. Thank you for allowing me to speak.
Mr. Tucker, thank you for your comments. Our heart aches for any parent who loses a child. John, you have anything you want to say to that?
So the CCRB notifies the NYPD of complaints about police officers within days of us identifying a police officer and entering them into our system. Mr. Tucker, I echo the chair's comment about the loss of your son. And as a parent, I share your concern about my child. And so I'm going to talk to staff either after today's meeting or tomorrow, and someone will get in touch with you and let you know the status of the investigations into the incidents that you mentioned earlier today.
Thank you. I appreciate that, sir.
Thank you. Do we have any other any other comments from the virtual comments? Jahai?
So I think Mr. Siegel is now on if we wanted to have him introduce himself.
Yes. John, introduce yourself, please.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. John Siegel, I'm a mayoral appointee. I've been on since the outset, but not so. Anyway, we've sorted out the technology. So, John Siegel, mayoral appointee, glad to join you all this afternoon.
Thank you, John. Do we have, Jahai, any more virtual comment?
Okay, no one else has raised their hands online. That can conclude the virtual public comment session.
Thank you. For those joining us in person and are interested in making a public comment, please line up behind the podium. Please keep your comments to 4 minutes.
Chair, before we move on, could I just want to ask a question? I think it might be either directed to you or to John. Is there a possible way that there be some, like the board give some kind of support when we can identify that there are occasions where different precincts have a lot of reports before we get it? And we can do something about it as far as investigate, because this came to us just now. And I think as an active board, is it possible for, either one of us or some of us to see if there's some kind of pattern that's going?
So I will discuss with the executive staff and senior staff and see if there is a way for us to come up with a system of alerting the department to patterns that we see beyond what we currently do.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
But if there are cases that will come before this board, then we have to be careful how we handle them so we deal with them in complete fairness. Okay.
Oh, nothing but that.
Right. Anyone speaking from the floor? 4 minutes, please.
Good afternoon. My name is Andrew Case, Supervising Attorney for Police and Prisons at Latino Justice. PROLDEF, thank you all for your service. Thank you for what you've been doing. And I'm very attentive to Interim Chair Smith's comments that you are lacking a number of board members, because when I look at your statistics this year, they are in some ways incredibly impressive, because 95% of the cases you closed in January were closed by full investigation. And that compares to maybe half the investigations for most of the months of 2005. And of those 95% that were closed by full investigation, for the first time that I remember, an actual majority, 51%, were substantiated. And this shows that you are doing an excellent job of identifying and finding police misconduct. However, the total number of cases that were closed in January of 2026 was 111. So that 95% is 95% of 111 cases. And in 2025, in January, you closed 500 cases. So something is causing cases to not get closed as rapidly as they used to be, or not as many cases in a month, or perhaps it was an off month and there weren't board panels able to meet, or something happened. And I think part of it, as Mr. Smith said, is the lack of board members to sit on panels. At the same time, as you know, Latino Justice has long been of the opinion that not every case needs to wait for a board panel to review it. The board is not required to review every case and vote on every case in a board panel. I want to spend a moment to send my condolences to Mr. Tucker, his son, Devon Crawford, was killed in 2005. One of 33 people shot and one of 9 people killed by the NYPD in 2005, in case anyone thought this was a new issue. Latino Justice represents the family of Alan Feliz. All of you know that. Mr. Feliz was shot by a police officer, then Sergeant, now Lieutenant, Jonathan Rivera, who, after pulling Mr. Feliz over, allegedly for not wearing a seatbelt, climbed into the car with his taser in one hand, his gun in the other, straddled Mr. Feliz over the driver's seat while he was sitting in the car, held his gun to his chest and shot him, then dragged him out of the car, took his pants off, and left him in the street to bleed with his genitals exposed. You know all that, because you investigated and you substantiated and you prosecuted that case before Deputy Commissioner Rosemary Maldonado at an administrative trial where your excellent staff and your excellent lawyers demonstrated by a preponderance of the evidence that Lieutenant Rivera had violated the patrol guide and that Lieutenant Rivera should be terminated. You proved that to Deputy Commissioner Rosemary Maldonado, who ruled that Lieutenant Rivera should be terminated because Lieutenant Rivera violated the patrol guide. The commissioner of the New York Police Department overruled that decision without having seen the trial, without having observed the testimony that Deputy Commissioner Maldonado found to be not credible. And Latino Justice and Center for Constitutional Rights and Bella Lavina Hoffman and Gideon Oliver are representing the family of Mr. Feliz and the Justice Committee to challenge that decision in court. And the NYPD has not produced the full trial transcript of that trial. And so I'm asking you today at the CCRB, and I'll write down a FOIL request if I have to, if you could provide the full transcript of the Alan Feliz trial and any exhibits that were entered into evidence before Deputy Commissioner Maldonado. I don't know if that's a necessarily public document. It seems like it should be. I'm making a request here. I'll put it in writing if I have to, and we are going to ask the NYPD as well. Thank you all very much.
Thank you. Here's an answer, John.
Yes, I'm going to discuss this with the agency's general counsel, Matt Kadushin, as soon as the meeting concludes, Andrew, and we'll get you an answer very quickly.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Anyone else speaking from the floor?
I'm Michael Myers, President of the New York Civil Rights Coalition. I want to first congratulate and commend the Executive Director of the Civilian Complaint Review Board. Many times I have come here every month and winced at what I hear. I think he's doing a terrific job. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to get hired or rehired or fired, but I hope you don't get fired by this new mayor. Speaking of new mayor and the police commissioner, who is not new anymore, I have to wonder, where are the appointments? I'm very gratified to see we have a complement of so many members here today, but there have been so many meetings I've come to where you even haven't had a quorum. And last month, because Esmeralda Simmons resigned, we were down to 2 women who were both absent. So there were no women here last month. At least we have 2 women back. I hope we can add, not subtract, through resignation or anything else. I hope we can add the number of women who are represented on this panel. So I want to make that for the record. I'm also encouraged that the police commissioner's appointees continue to come to meetings and to be present at panel discussions. It's important for them to be here. And I commend them for being here. I commend them for taking the heat and the brickbats and everything else that's sent your way because you are, quote, the police commissioner's representatives. That's a tough job. But integrity is not tough. Integrity should be straightforward. So I commend the members of the CCRB for your integrity. I commend you for sticking to it and against all odds and against the criticism of the civil rights community, the civil liberties community, and the public at large. So keep coming to meetings, keep going to the panel discussions, keep asking questions, as Bob Grant used to say. Keep asking questions. Finally, I hope that the mayor, and I've given him a honeymoon period. I've written, like you, I've written to him. I've written to the police commissioner. I hope that he will finally fill the vacancies on this board. You guys are taking too much work, taking on too much work in the sense of not enough people are coming to panels. So why does the mayor make appointments? The new mayor. He doesn't get away from criticism because he's new. He doesn't get away from criticism because he's non-white. No, this guy's got to make appointments to this board, to this committee. So I urge him again. I've already done it in writing. I'm going to write again tomorrow morning. He hasn't answered me yet, but neither did the police commissioner, so they're both wrong not to answer me. So I hope that we can move forward in good faith. I hope that we can have a full panel. I hope we can have more women. I hope that the police commissioner and the mayor can come together to make sure that police officers who are miscreant are held accountable. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Myers. I share with you your commendation of our executive director, and I would direct your your attention to the city council speaker. The city council speaker needs to make 2 more appointments. The mayor's got 5 appointees on this board now, but unless he wants to replace some of us, he's full. It's the city council we need, and it's the public advocate who needs to make an appointment. Please, thank you.
But the mayor made all appointments. Recommendation from the
Well, the mayor and the city council speak. The mayor and the city council speaker jointly would name a chair. So the mayor and anyway, thank you. Any other speakers from the floor?
Hi, my name is Wes Mahoney. I'm with the New York.
Sir,
Okay.
bring it up closer, please. Your name again, please.
Wes Mahoney. I'm with the New York Civil Liberties Union. I just had 2 brief questions. One of them was related to the previously raised issue of the total case closures. I'm wondering if there's an explanation for why there were so few unable to investigate closures this month. And the second was just about the body-worn camera footage. I was wondering if it was possible to know roughly what % of body-worn camera footage requests are redacted and why there's been an increase in the time to receive redacted body-worn camera footage. Thank you.
John, 2 questions for you.
So the panel that handles not fully investigated cases was unable to meet in January. And that's why it's not reflected in the statistics. But I expect that panel to double their expected work this month. And so you'll see a resumption of the normal flow of business. And it is the problem with taking 1 month and highlighting it from an entire year. With regard to the body-worn camera redactions, I will get back to you on that. I'm not exactly sure the times for redaction. So I will get that information for you and provide it to you, and then provide it to the public at the next board meeting.
All right, thank you. Do we have any other questions or comments from the floor? Do we have any old business to come before the board? Hearing none, we now enter the new business portion of the meeting. Do we have any new business? Hearing none, I am going to move now that we break into executive session. The agenda for executive is the board will consider 2 full board cases. The executive director will discuss pending personnel actions, and the general counsel will provide updates regarding pending litigation. Is there a motion to adjourn to executive session?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned to executive session. Thank you all for coming.